Folks, welcome back to the CCL Summer 8s tournament powered by eFuse. My name is Seymour, and alongside me is Cruz. We're here bringing you Team Beastenversus Team Venitt in the round number 2 of the winners bracket. This is going to be a good one. One of these teams off of a 3-0 sweep. Team BeastenT, they're off of a Game 5 victory. I know we had a little bit of a break. We had lobby issues, but here we are. We get the maps above them, and Cruz, I am ready to hop into this.
Yeah, I mean, and before we hop into this, we're just going to take a quick look at our bracket. See how everything else is breaking down throughout this tournament right now, because while we've been gone, there's been a lot of action going on here. You can already see one of the round 2 matches is already underway in Team Catalyst versus Team Tactic. Both teams 3-0. Both teams have already taken a map off each other, so nobody without a map lost still. And I mean, just looking through the rest of this bracket right now, you can see Team Mental versus Team Tessin. That one will be getting underway shortly, along with Team Fishity versus Team Dr. Perseus. But I mean, like you said, the match that we're going to be focusing on for the main part right now is that Team BeastenT versus Team Venitt match. And just looking down towards the losers bracket is those final 2 teams that have already made it through Team Relic. 3-0's Team Buzz. So not the best day in the world for Team Buzz. I believe they got double 3-0'd out of the tournament. That's not the way you want to start off CCL for this season. Ooh. But I mean, it's a good thing that this is just a Summer 8s tourney. Not the best way to start it off, though. But Team Red Chase, they will get that bye past Team 47, who was the first team, of course, to not be playing in the tournament today.
Nothing really to kind of drop your head to whatsoever. 8s, they can be difficult when the draft doesn't go your way, or things just don't click with the teammates that you do pick up. And I mean, Team Buzz would like to see the players bounce back into the CCL season, but like you said, Team BeastenT versus Team Venitt, that's who we're focusing on over in that match number 16. We're starting off on raid. Map number 2 will be Moscow. Number 3 is going back to the raid for control. And if we go the distance, it will be checkmate and stand up for our last 2 maps. Cruz, raid being that map number 1, I know we didn't get to see that first Garrison hardpoint in the last series, but we did see the Apocalypse hardpoint. And I mean, anything from those that you want to see transfer over into this raid?
I mean, this is my favorite hardpoint to watch on this game, especially for game 1. I think it's the perfect game 1 hardpoint because it's one of these maps where you just got to throw everything at it. Kills are important, rotations are important. Making sneaky little flank plays super important. Finding kills on rotation very important. It's just that overall map, and I mean, we saw it back in Black Ops 2. We're seeing it again here in Cold War. It's that map that you just absolutely love to watch because anything can happen. You can see a team go down by 150 points. They string a few hills together. They bring it all the way back for themselves. You see it, you see that, or you see just some of those games that are just super tight games all the way through of teams just constantly flipping out. You get the kitchen hill and then for a full 60, but then the other team will answer back with a full 60 for themselves on garage. I just think it's just the perfect map to start off on honestly any series with.
We love our raids, and we love to see it for our map number 1 and map number 3. As I said, Moscow, it's going to be a little bit different, a lot slower pace than the raids will be for the 1s and 3s. So it's a perfect map to bounce back if you do go 0-1 into that, not able to keep up with the pace. If you're Venitt, you're looking to keep up the progress from that 3-0 sweep from before, but I mean, you have to show that you're going to be warm into the series because, like I said, Team BeastenT coming off of a Map 5 victory. They're going to be hot, ready to go, looking to battle into this raid with all that they got. So let's hop into this map number 1. Raid hardpoint already. Team BeastenT is going to be starting off on the less preferred side. So they do send player number 3, Decim, through the middle of the map to hit that cut early, take control of the ring, and now look for a little bit extra through the spawns.
Such a weird spawn out because he pushed through the middle of the map. I think Decim forced the spawn outs of player 5 and 7, but that's going to work out super well for the side of Team Venitt. They recognize the player behind, they drop him down, and they get a perfect pinch onto the hill as well. So I mean, yeah, BeastenT gets a few seconds off a break off in a very weird spawn out, but I mean, that honestly worked out very well for the side of Team Venitt.
Look at this team. He's got JMac, player I highlighted over in draft day, and looked very confident picking up Lock as well. And we're going to start off onto this. They do have the preferred spawns, but with that kill from BeastenT off of the screen, you do see that kitchen is going to be left open for Team BeastenT so far. You're calling for the reinforcements. You're wrapping on over. Look to take a few more, but they do take BeastenT out. So far, so good for Team Venitt. Looking to keep their success forward in the clear onto the site as well. JMac, a big one-on-one for time. But here comes the flood early from Team BeastenT. Right through the front of the hill is going to be BeastenT. Right into the mix. Venitt ready from the bait into lock as well. They do get a little bit dicey into a still a contention on board, but the reinforcements from Team Venitt, and they hold control.
It's a fantastic rotation from the side of Team Venitt. They got a little dicey there. We thought BBeasten might be able to make a play through the side. Once they shut down that first player, though, it just forces every other player on BBeasten to have to funnel through this middle doorway. And it's just never a recipe for success here on right when you have to funnel through that door. And I mean, we just saw it again there. It's so much easier for the defense to be able to hold. And now I love this play from Team Venitt. They get control of the hill. Now they're going to push out, try to find these kills on rotation, because if they find these kills, they're going to force them to spawn out at the old hill.
BBeasten's running the FFAR too. I just saw that. J-Mac gets into weight room. The nade clears him out. FFAR not favoring Neum in that at all. The spawn out for BBeasten is going to leave this lacking. Luckily, your teammates are turning up onto this hill, and this is going to be a pinch that pays off. Clears him out from behind. Does enough damage, but still not taking him out. Oh, BBeasten, you got to clean that up, and he does. One player is going to spawn out, but an early flood now from Team Venitt to get right back into the mix. Contention right into the FFAR. BBeasten clears him off. 37 seconds, so don't expect Team Venitt to give this up so far, but they're having trouble flooding on through. Lines up two of them. BBeasten stunts out this attack and call it to J-Mac. Big one-on-one for time here. But he's going to rotate on out because the reinforcements are here for Team BBeasten, and you got to look to basketball courts now.
Was looking like a very, very hard kill there and towards that garage there. I mean, I don't know how he stayed alive for as long as he did, but he did. And this is what we were talking about before we started this game off. This map can be one of those games where it's a huge swing map and a huge lead off the rip, or you're going to have super, super tight games where one team is just going to constantly hold onto these powerful hills. And so far, that's what it looks like. But BBeasten, he's making a flank play through the back. He actually finds one in basketball, and it's going to force the spawn onto him from his team. And the rest of the players on Venitt are spawning out, so it's really only Locke here by himself. He's in a very tough spot, and he needs to just try to stay alive and hold his life right now.
On an island, Collapse looking to come through. Locke still alive because J-Mac's got his back. Now the flood comes on in, but it's a little late if you're Team BBeasten. Team Venitt already here to battle out, but you see the kill feed mostly blue. Locke still alive on the hill with 7 HP left, finally getting cleared on out by Decim, but it's a lot of time that Venitt stalled out. 24 seconds now on this hill number 4. You get another push of your J-Mac here with this SMG, but they're ready for it. They lock you down, and you even got BBeasten into the mix to cut you off from the middle of the map.
What a play from Locke there, though. Like, he recognizes that they lose those spawns, and he stays alive for 30 seconds. Inside that little basketball room there. Absolutely huge. It stops the side of Team BBeasten from being able to get a chunk of time on that hill. They only get the back 20 because the first 40 were contested, and the first 30 were basically only because of him. Yeah, he got some reinforcements, but he was that player who stayed alive that entire time in that hill. Things you absolutely love to see, but it will be Venitt now set up inside courtyard for our next hill. But a beautiful break from all angles from the side of Team BBeasten to be able to break back into this hill very early.
Jinx Cruz, you owe me a soda. That was so beautiful from Team BBeasten. I mean, the collapse, 3 points of contacts into that hill. Couldn't be cleaner than that. A kill comes through for J-Mac. You still got players keeping this even. But once again, just like that early break from Team Venitt, or from Team BBeasten, Venitt's side, they get right back into it. They clear out the site. 18 seconds left. They hold on to this lead. We're going to be marginally even heading onto this rotation to hill number 1. But through this first set of hills, what do you think of these two teams?
I mean, I think that when Venitt gets set up early, they look like they're very, very tough to beat. But the fact BBeasten just seems like in the second half of that rotation, they were really, really bringing the fight to them. So I think if they can find a way to shut down that rotation from 1 to 2, because that's where we saw Venitt get the most amount of their time. If they can find a way to shut that down and slow down that rotation, I think that's where BBeasten can really find their opening to be able to win this game.
So far, in the same position as before, Team Venitt with the preferred side. 3 go down for the blue team. Another lead is starting to gain from Team Venitt onto this hill number 1. You know that this can transition into a money hill to the second set of rotations if you keep that enemy team back inside art, and they're doing a phenomenal job at making sure that is what's happening. 22 seconds still left, and Team BBeasten are struggling just to get a foot on for contention, because those ARs are providing so much aerial support to these players. You look at the mini-map and you can see the blue arrows are starting to traverse themselves from side to side, get in behind, and look to uproot these spawns away from Team Venitt. But they start with the first hill, they break on in, they stop the bleeding for now. But they have to focus on spawns, and they can't even do that.
Bolt didn't check his corner, and player 8, Neum, was in the back just watching over. And this is going to set up such a one-dimensional push again from BeaSten. They need to try to hit this from multiple angles, but it's not going to work. They need to just all flood through the front of kitchen because it's really the only hit that they have available here. And when you're running into just people who are set up with gunfire, it makes it so tough for them to be able to break on into this hill, but they're doing it from the front. They're able to at least find two. They find the third in the back as well. So, I mean, whether or not they make this scrappy, at least they put up a good hold from the front. That's a very tough break to make.
Oh, Blake trying to play ring around Rosie to the pillar, but you got two players there. If you're Venitt, so you're just able to bait him into the other. A clear out, a spawn flip too. Two players spawn out if you're Team BeaSten, so it's really up to Blake and Decim to hold their own down there. You're out of Decim. And Niam's watching the rotation too. They don't even have to get into this hill. You're gonna put Venitt onto it to stick the hill for time. And just watch for the cut players. Control to Venitt early onto this garage hill. It's so hard to break. You saw BeaSten lock it down, so you're gonna bank on this early break. The swing out into Blake, and Decim gets the pinch, so great break from BeaSten to get into this hill early. Are they gonna hold on to spawns? They do, so their fourth player is gonna spawn up into AC. You give BeaSten that opening to start the flank, but he can't account for Venitt. Lock gets into the hill for the contention, and this is gonna be very scrappy now. Niam clears out Decim, and just like that, Venitt break on in.
Done such a good job through the early half of this game of holding on to that garage hill. That's where they got the majority of their time in that first set of rotations, but Venitt within what, 15 seconds of getting broken, they break right back into the hill. And I mean, they're good to hold on to this scrap time here. If you're BeaSten, you just need to give this up at this point. You don't want to contest this and have to run all the way across the map to try to get into this next hill. You were able to get a decent amount of time on basketball the last time with the likes of Niam pushed all the way up and into that little basketball room. You just need to make sure you don't allow him to get into that position again and to be such an annoying player once again.
Oh, wait, players are dropping so fast from Team BeaSten. Luckily, the spawns are coming in, and you get some shots from behind. Block sneaks in. Oh, Decim! He reads it, and he finds the kill. He's gonna be right for J-Mac, though. He can't clear him out. It's gonna be up to Bolton. There you go. Clears off the hill. 41 seconds to climb back into this. Team Venitt, one good break, and they can put this down into the history books. They got two players here. The trade from Venitt, leaving it forward. A lot of white in the kill feed. Blake trying to dance around to stay alive, but he's gonna get cleaned up from behind because Niam cuts through money, gets into the hill. Now 22 seconds. You can't win on this, but you can get damn close.
Yeah, they can't win on this hill, but I mean, BeaSten still needs to try to contest this. You don't want to allow Venitt to try to get any bit closer to winning this game, but it looks like they're not going to contest. They're just going to try to play for exits on these players pushing out. They're going to take a gunfight on J-Mac outside money window. I mean, that's not the best gunfight to take either. That's such a hard head glitch to be able to kill a player off of. And they basically flipped again. Venitt is in such a good position to try to pinch onto this hill now. A few kills will go to the way of BeaSten, though, so it will at least slow that push down. But, oh, man, that got scary for a second there.
Oh, Bolt makes a huge individual play through pillars to get into this hill, keeping Team BeaSten alive. So look at the mini-map. Venitt are trying to group up through that ring to set up a pinch with their teammates from Kitchen. BeaSten gets caught out from that pillar setup that the arrows are in. Here comes the flood on out. You don't know where you're getting hit. If you're Bolt, the break onto the hill. Now 4 seconds to win it out. And they get the wipe, they get the kills, they take the map, and Venitt go up 1-0.
Yeah, it got a little closer than they wanted it to at the end there, but Venitt just felt like they were in complete control of that game almost the entire time through. It was this break right here that honestly wins them the game as well, because if BeaSten at this point of the game, if they get the full 60 on basketball after getting a break within 10 seconds, that's when they have a really good chance of being able to close this game, or just bring the game back to even tighter than it was. But Venitt, they do such a great job of just breaking into that hill, really shutting down the push, and honestly, once they did it, forced the spawn out of BeaSten, they couldn't even get close to getting back into that hill, and that's where they got the big lead and were able to hold on to it for the remainder of the game.
And you gotta give it to Niam too. Niam was like a walking score streak for Team Venom, or Team Venitt. He was hard to kill, and he was always finding those sneaky angles to break in undetected to find 1, 2, or even 3 in a row. So you gotta give it on him, doing a great job at breaking. You saw he got to play of the game too. A big break, or a big key part in that break to Garage to cut on through mid, take the players off the car, and get control of that. 250 to 193. Very close hard point, but like you said, it felt like Team Venitt were in the driving seat from start to finish. Let's take a look at that bracket to see how everybody else is doing in this series as well, because the CCL Summer 8s tournament is only beginning, and you can take a look at the top there. Match number 13 between Catalyst and Tactic, tied 1 apiece. Even Steven Mental and Tess, and they haven't started their match either. So that's Mental, who actually hasn't played a series, considering that 47's team forfeit at the start of the tournament as well. So maybe just waiting on a few players to lobby up to get started into that map number 1. But Fishy and Dr. Perseus' squad as well. Fishy is going to be leading 1-0 in that. And if you look at the losers bracket, the last 2 teams haven't started, but Red Chase, barring the forfeit from Team 47, they move on into the losers round number 2, awaiting the loser of that round 15 matchup between Team Perseus and Team Fishity. And Ralik's going to be waiting for the loser of the matchup that we're watching right now. So things are moving forward. CCL Summer 8 is booming right now. And I mean, things are looking good, but we got to talk about this Moscow map number 2 cruise, because that's coming up next. And you got to look at Team BeaSten, because they don't want to fall behind. They won their map number 5 in their round number 1 matchup. So you know that they have a good feeling for that search and destroy. What do you need to see transition into Moscow after that map number 1 loss?
I would really love to know if BeaSten won the first Search and Destroy as well. And if we're just looking at maybe a team that's very strong in Search and Destroy, because that could be the case. Maybe they just need to steal one of these hard points and then take both their Search and Destroys. Maybe that might be their game plan. Because, I mean, hey, what do all the big casters say? Search and Destroy wins championships, right? So, I mean, they've already iced it out. They've won a game 5. But let's not forget that this Team Venitt team has yet to drop a map yet.
Let me tell you, I got the stats for you, just because I know you love stats.
I do. I love my stats.
Team BeaSten beat Team Crooked 6-1 in that first Search and Destroy. 6-1 victory in that first one. I don't know what the map was, but we know
where they
that.
come back. Then,
yeah,
this absolutely needs to be where they make their comeback. And I mean, they have 2 very honestly similar Search and Destroy maps in Moscow and Standoff throughout this series as well. Because I both these maps have the ability for you to make big flank plays, or you to just completely run at a site and overwhelm a team. So I think it's really going to be how is BeaSten going to decide to play this map? And how is Venitt going to answer that? Because that's going to be the big storyline going into this map for me, is because clearly BeaSten's a good Search and Destroy team, but they haven't played a team like Venitt yet, who is also, like I said earlier, undefeated so far today in any map.
Yeah, and you even kind of got to take into account as well. I mean, look at the last series that we just saw. You don't want to put everything on a reverse sweep, because that's hard in Cold War. I mean, how many times? I mean, forget about the last major, but how many times have we seen reverse sweeps in Cold War? It doesn't happen very often, and especially in the lower levels like the CCL, like Tier 3, Tier 4 Call of Duty. It doesn't happen all the time for reverse sweeps. It's hard to get that mentality, but it almost happened in the last game, and you woke up after that raid control. It just wasn't enough to get that one. So you don't want to put everything on a reverse sweep here. You really want to focus at going even after this Moscow.
It's such a fine line though too, because I feel like in those like lower tier Call of Duties, like you were saying, I feel like this is where you do have the bigger chance of being able to do it though as well, because like you have a bigger chance of your opponent making those mistakes to give you that opening to get in as well. But I do see what you mean as well in terms of, yes, they have that chance, but also once you're in that higher tier, you have the higher tier of players who have a better chance. So I do fully understand what you mean. It's a very fine line that we walk when it comes to talking about the big potential of a reverse sweep.
And you can even kind of put on top of it that it's even harder in an 8s tournament when you don't have
you don't know your team.
When you don't know your team, you don't have that trust. So it's just another reason that just keeps on piling up on why you don't want to have a reverse sweep in a tournament in a tournament like this. So we're going to get into this Moscow Search and Destroy now for map number 2. If your Team BeaSten, you're looking at going even into this, because you're headed back to raid after this one for your map number 3. And I mean, you were close in that hard point, but it just wasn't, I think, convincing enough for me that you want to put yourself in that situation. So Cruz, for this round number 1, we talk about it a lot. What do you want to see after the break from Moscow?
Well, I mean, I think the big story of this whole conversation that me and you were just having was the fact that I think that both of us are in agreement that BeaSten needs to win this map. So I think it starts off with a big round number 1 for themselves on defense.
Yes.
Hold a defense here from the side of Venitt. Don't allow them to just bully their way on site and get in here and win this first round easily.
Oh, Blake, able to trade out, but Venitt's still holding numbers. You can see the last 2 players now for BeaSten in a 2v3 are going to rotate on back through that hill number 2 hard point. Bomb goes down, 40 seconds now against Team BeaSten to wipe these players and get the defuse, but it looks like Venitt, they want to take that fight to them, and that's not the call, because Neom now all alone, 1v2, how the tables have turned. They chase him down, and Bolt gets a big kill now to take that first round. I do not like that call from Team Venitt whatsoever.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I do understand what they're trying to do there is they're just trying to take one side of the map, right? Because they get the bomb down on that side of the bomb. So once that happens, they just try to take control of that center there to push out. What they don't know, though, is that Beasten's on the other side waiting for them. Unfortunately, once one player gets caught off guard, it makes it a lot easier here. But if Locke doesn't fall here first, it makes it a lot easier for the likes of JMac and Neum to get out. But they just don't, unfortunately. So it's a rough situation. Yes, a little bit of a misplay, but also a very good play from the side of Team Beasten as well.
Oh, fantastic that both of them locked down both lines of sight that you could take and just won their gunfights. In turn, I mean, as soon as the flood comes on in, they just handled that so well. You take out the player that's flooding on through pillars, you take out the player through screens, and then Neum has to back up. He has to take a different gunfight because he gets tagged up. You don't want to take that early one, but look, they're going to answer back with aggression on this defense, right through checkers. Beasten doesn't spot the player through S keys, and Venitt is going to take down Beasten nonetheless. So numbers once again there. JMac looking for another one. Calls for the bait and switch into it. So another 2v4 for Team Beasten to work out of it. Blake is able to find Locke. Can he take out another one, though, and make us go even in this sense? Look at your mini-map, because Venitt, he is traveling so far away. Bolt is in a 1v2 on site now. But he has to be worried about the player from behind, because nothing that Bolt did there would be ready for that flank from Venitt.
I feel so bad for Bolt. The angle he was holding right off the rip of that round, if he holds that angle for one more second, he probably gets the head. Of JMac peeking over that little cut on that outer walkway, and unfortunately he gives it up 1 second too early. It's COD time at its finest. And I feel like that kill there could have completely swung that round because it would have opened up the entire outside of A for the rest of Beasten to try to filter their way through. Unfortunately, he doesn't get that kill. It'll give so much positioning to Venitt to push up and just really pin those players on the back of steps for the side of Beasten. So very unfortunate, but nonetheless, Venitt back on offense here. It's going to be a 3-player hit towards A, very similar to their last hit. And I mean, the last time all they did was overwhelm the site. They got on, they got the bomb down, but there was a little bit of a miscommunication and a bad push out towards the back that really cost them last round. So we'll see what they can do here.
Big part of that was the trade from Blake. This time, though, from checkers, it's Beasten who drops the bomb in Eskies at the top. It's going to force Neum to pick that one up. Numbers to Beasten, and they catch Neum on the rotation. So now they go 3v2. You force off Venitt from that site, and they have to figure out a different strategy into this round because you already have middle map control if you're Team Beasten. And player number 8, Blake, is just going to play back and wait for the push from Team Venitt so he can disengage and set up for a pinch.
Don't like this push out from Beasten. You had so much mid-map control, and you just push both your players back. And now you're giving just one player in Bolt the middle of the map now to have to take these individual gunfights. Once he hears these shots, I feel like Bolt should be making this rotation through the middle of the map, trying to catch these players in the back. But you're just giving so much time for Venitt to be able to push forward and try to find these kills on your teammates.
Venitt 1v3, 11 seconds to work with. Is able to find one so far. The swing into the next one, but Blake wins the gunfight. So Beasten, they go up 2-1 in the series. All defensive rounds so far. And yeah, I mean, the disengage is a little bit dicey, but...
Yeah, I would have lost my mind. I would have absolutely lost my mind if they lost that round, man. They had so much map control, and they almost gave it up there. Blake is one bullet from leaving that in a 1 versus 1 and having to close that round out.
Well, like... It's exactly like round number 1, Cruz, when Venitt, they push through screens to take the aggression to Team Beasten. It's more so like, I feel like it's just taking the gunfights that you want to, just controlling where you take your comfortable gunfights. I don't know.
It absolutely is. It's just, the color caster in me is just dying when I see them give up so much map control that they don't have. Obviously, they don't have the same information as us either. But it's just, it's very frustrating to watch. But nonetheless, moving on to the next round, Beasten, they're going to be pushing this bomb up towards the A side. They have the numbers here. They can try to overwhelm them on the site.
They gotta be quick though, because player number 1, he is off in Narnia. No clue what's gonna happen at this A site. Spending a lot of time just waiting.
There's a big adjustment in this round too from Beasten. The last time they didn't get any control from stairs. This time they get all the control of the map, so they can try to really push out, and Beasten's gonna find that first kill.
Oh, and they find Neum too. They overwhelmed JMac. That was flawless take to A. And now player number 1, Venitt, who is all the way off in Narnia over at the B side, he's got the world on his shoulders to work with.
Yeah, remember that slow flank from round number 2 there? Yeah, it's not going to work out the same success it did the last time, or maybe it will. He finds the first, but still, a 1v3 is going to be very tough with only 27 seconds left to deal with.
And now they know where to look as well. Individual gunfights. Blake plays an aggressive angle, not expecting that whatsoever. 2 rounds in a row collected by Team BeastenTech. Let's take the biggest lead so far into the Moscow. And a good change-up. Like you highlighted, you know Venitt hit that really long flank back in round number 2. So this time you just stack over to the A site, you get aggressive into it, you maintain controls of S keys, and then as soon as you break on out, 3 players get overwhelmed, and Venitt's just off in nowhere land.
And I know I kind of highlighted it during the middle of that round, but I really like the adjustment that the Team BeastenTech made in that round on offense, going towards the A side. Instead of sending 1 through S keys, they sent all their pressure through steps. And what that did was it didn't allow Venitt to get that much pressure on that A side and really shut them down. But a big mid hit coming in from Venitt, and this 2-2 split from the side of BeastenTech that they've been doing, it might not work out as well. But you got to keep your eyes on player number 6, which is BeastenTech. If he can find a flank play and maybe catch one of these players off guard, it could absolutely spell disasters. But he's making a flank to A, and there's nobody over there right now.
No, nobody is in the route that BeastenTech has taken, so a little bit unlucky for 6, but with that shot from Venitt, I think it's going to call for an early rotation from himself. Bolt is taken in. There you have it, the strike from BeastenTech, able to slow down this attack. Oh, but 2 go down in retaliation, all up to Decim, not expecting J-Mac to be that close around the corner in a 1-round deficit as Team Venitt, I mean, I have to say, timing was on their side in that round.
Yeah, I mean, if BeastenTech finds that first kill a little bit earlier in that round, that's probably a completely different round, but nonetheless, they are able to close it out. They find a few kills through the middle of the map. That was honestly a really weird round, how both teams kind of played that. It was very aggressive from the side of Team BeastenTech on defense, and they just couldn't catch a timing, unfortunately. And our game has ended, unfortunately. So it looks like we're in a 3-2 here for Team BeastenTech. We'll see what's going on with that once we get final word. But I mean, nonetheless, just looking at that game there, I mean, just watching BeastenTech play that map, I can see why they were winning their search and destroys. They have a very good understanding of how they want to take control of the map. So if they can continue to find that same success throughout the rest of this game, I don't see why they can't take this Moscow. And evidently, later on in the game, if they take a hard point or the control, take that standoff later on.
Oh, no, 100%. I'm seeing why that they won their game 5 back in round number 1. But for now, with this break in the search and destroy, we are going to throw it to a short little intermission while we figure out what is happening with the lobby. And when we come back, we'll not only fill you in on the problems, but we'll get ready for the rest of this Moscow search and destroy. So stay tuned for some more CCL 8's summer tournament powered by eFuse. And welcome back. Apologies for the short little break, but 3-2 for BeastenTech, hopping back into it, and a team kill to start that one off. Unsure if this is how we're gonna lead this one. Yeah, so we get another one. Well, looks like we're not in it just yet, Cruz. But you know what we can look at? We can totally look at the bracket right now and take a look at what everybody is doing in the rest of the series other than this one. So we take a look back at it. Team Catalyst and Team Tactic, game number 5. Hello? They're going neck and neck with that one. You were saying... Sorry, I hit my mic. You were saying that is that's a matchup that you wanted to keep your eyes on, and is it delivering?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a banger of a match, and it turns out, yes, indeed, it is a banger of a match after both teams go 3-0 through that first set of through the first round of action for themselves. Both teams now take 2 games off of each other. They're going to be going to a game 5. Would love to know what map they're going to play in that, if we can get some information from one of our mods maybe at some point. But nonetheless, very, very exciting action going on there in that match. Clearly, Team Mental and Testin have not started their matchup still, but Fishty, after a 3-0 of Team Plasma, up 3-0 now on Dr. Persia. So, I mean, very good start for them here in this game. They definitely seem to be a team to watch out for here as well. And I mean, just looking through the rest of this, it does look like Team Crooked and Team Josh have finished off their first game. It was actually a 250-69 win for the likes of Crooked.
Nice. Things we're like to see, some quick COD action into this. Yes, we are waiting on a few other matches to start off for this round number 2. Oh, there, look, it's edited. Team Mental, Team Testin. Team Testin's up 1-0 in their series. So I guess things are on pace now for this round number 2, but we are going to be hopping into this map now, Cruz. We're going to be seeing how we're going to finish off this Moscow Search and Destroy. And as a reminder, Team BBeasten up 3-2, back on the offense. So we got to focus on Venitt making a few changes because Team BBeasten, I mean, yeah, it's close in a 3-2, but they don't look that bad this time around. You do see a stack to A, semi-stack to A with 2 players lurking over towards checkers, but they have a good early rotation setup to reinforce the site if need be, but it looks like Venitt's going to get caught off by Bolt for first blood.
Yeah, it looked like Venitt was just trying to get a little bit over aggressive there through the middle of the map, and they do end up getting shut down. So, I mean, a good amount of control to the side of Beast, and it looks like they're going to try to head over towards this B site right now. And I mean, it's a perfect call. Only one player really over here for Venitt, and I mean, he's just trying to make the play through the outer of Boulevard here. So, I mean, he might be able to catch one off guard, but I doubt he gets more than one. Yeah, and he doesn't even get the one. BBeasten finds him. This is going to be an easy cleanup round for the rest of BBeasten at this point.
And we test him, just a sneaky beaver. Back at to the A site. Just waits for the time. J-Mac lets himself be known. Now Neum's alone in a 1v3. Bomb gets planted, but Neum able to take away the flawless route so far. But they are going to be collapsing onto this last player. You can see Destin through the middle of the map. The last 2 from behind. Neum is going to find some good timing. 1v2 now. 30 seconds on the clock. Time's against him. What can he do? Both players are in separate one-on-ones. Bolt into the apartments. BBeasten and Boulevard. Looks like he's going to be cutting to BBeasten, but he's not going to count for him to be underneath this truck. How is he still alive? No way he gets away with that. No, he doesn't. BBeasten, 4-2.
I thought I just had the biggest caster curse in my life when I said that this was going to be an easy closeout round, but no, they do close it off. And look, this is how close Locke was to finding that kill onto BBeasten through the right side of Boulevard there. If he finds that kill, probably a different round because they don't get that bomb down for free. They lose one, and then with how big they were able to almost come back in that round with Neum at the end there. I mean, if it's a 1v3, maybe he finds that final couple kills. But shouts to our wonderful producer here in Benji, giving us this beautiful overlay with the +2 and the +3 here to leave us all that reminder that BBeasten only needs to close out 2 more rounds to win the rest of this game.
I hope you graduated math class, or at least passed with flying colors. So you're going to do some addition to know what the score is. 4-2 for BBeasten. Blake finds an opening. He keeps it going too with 2. First and second blood. J-Mac gets in behind, evens us up. Can't account for the third one. BBeasten drops the bomb, gives them numbers, but oh, I love this chase from Neum. Not wasting a single step in the beat. But he doesn't have the bomb, so he has to take these kills at all. So you're gonna find BBeasten here. Easy cleanup and wrap right back to A. Oh, he can get the bomb down as well, unless Bolt makes a quick dash over here to stop it. Actually, this is a perfect read from Bolt.
You might have heard that audio cue too.
And Neum right to his right. Oh, the timing! Oh, Neum! No way he's gonna get away with this, Bolt! Oh. Good morning and good night.
That had me. Those shots were a little shaky. I'm not gonna lie, had me a little bit scared at the end there. I thought he might get turned on, but yeah, Neum able to close that round out again. I will say Neum chasing that kill was very, very risky, but he loses the player, but he heard the audio cue of the slide to his right, and that's what gave him the note that he needs to look half wall, find that kill, gets the job done for himself there. And Venitt, they're trying to claw their way back into this. I mean, a lot of little individual job being done from Neum, but nonetheless, it's working for them here. They're only down 1 round, but a very, very heavy A hit coming in from the side of BBeasten off the start of a round.
And they're stacking it too. Team Venitt is a phenomenal read. As Venitt won't get caught out from checkers. You have the rotation to S keys. You're gonna have the pinch set up for these players, and you're trying to suffocate them, but the bite back's a little bit tougher from Team BBeasten. D-Money not able to catch out Neum as he is literally unkillable. 6-1 on a 4 spree. Chance not to test him fast enough though, and it is gonna be Venom in a 1v2. Bomb is down, so it is gonna be Team BBeasten who have to recover it. Can Venitt clutch up again for the team? 1v1. Bolt's gonna catch the good timing and reads the trade perfectly. BBeasten hold their lead and they move it up to map point.
Yeah, they played that 1v2 a lot better than they played the 1v4 earlier on in this match. They played a lot more together there. No individual gunfights. Well, maybe an individual gunfight, but a quick, easy trade nonetheless. But I mean, I can't lie, man. I'm watching this right now, and I know they're down 5-3 at the moment. But holy, has Neum been just so big for this Team Venitt team. If they end up coming back and winning this Search and Destroy, it will most likely be on the back of him and how strong he has been in this matchup so far for his team. He looked great in the hard point. He's looking even better here in the Search and Destroy. Unfortunately, he's just not getting a lot of supporting cast from his team right now.
Well, we've seen so many individual plays today. Neum, Draco, Dark, and J-Mac finds Blake too. 3-3 into this round, and a fast trade to keep numbers in Beasten's favor. But again, it's back and forth from these squads. Desum has made the quick dash into Eski's. Perfect timing onto Lock in a 2v1. Now J-Mac. Oh my god, these guys can't catch a break. Beasten's last alive for his squad. J-Mac makes it even, but again, good timing. J-Mac, the shots are there, but he can't finish in time. That's the FFAR versus an AK-74U, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a different story if we saw him on a head glitch as well, in all honesty there. Like, if I think maybe the 74 you might have the advantage at that point.
Maybe, yeah.
Because the FFAR's got that big jump to it. But nonetheless, Team Beasten able to close that game out 6-2, or 6-3, I should say.
Yeah.
And we're going to tie our series up at 1-1 now.
Ties it up. Even Steven between both of these squads. I'm loving the college content today, but now that we wrap up in that Moscow, why don't we take back a look back at our bracket just to recuperate on anything that has stopped through during that last one. Fishy still up 2-0 in their series. Game 5 hasn't finished between Catalyst and Tactic, and as I mentioned prior to getting back into that Search and Destroy, Tessin did take map number 1 over Mental, but look at the bottom of the screen. So we get the updates for Plasma versus Fastball. Plasma's up 2-0. Crooked's up 2-0 for their series. And oh man, I mean, I knew that the 8th tournament was going to be hectic. I knew there was going to be chaos today, but I did not expect this.
Oh man, I'm just looking at the scores too that were getting sent to us by our wonderful CCL mods, of course. But Plasma over Fastball, the two maps, I don't know what map they were, but Plasma 250-54 map 1, 6-2 map 2 over Fastball. This is not the way Fastball wanted to start his CCL career. Not a great look here for himself. But I mean, we obviously don't even have the information on whether or not he got that player that he wanted in the throughout the draft and all that. But I mean, just a rough start here for Fastball to his CCL start. But I mean, Crooked's team looking a lot better, bouncing back from that first round loss, already up 2-0 here. And I mean, let's not forget that it was a Game 5 loss to this Beasten team, who does look very good in Search and Destroy. So I mean, if Crooked's team can find a way to start winning their Search and Destroys, along with, I'm sure they're a very good hardpoint and control team. I mean, I could see that team being a team that makes a run through this losers bracket.
I mean, they've already made a few adjustments, beating out Josh 6-1 in that Search and Destroy. So far, so good for Team Crooked's losers bracket run. But as we dive right back into the series ahead of us, Team Beasten, Team Venitt tied 1 apiece after the Search and Destroy. Big swing map now for the control, as since we're tied, this is going to affect momentum. As yes, the scoreline will go up, but I have to say that confidence is something that you also need to kind of mention after a map number 3. Kind of breaking a tie into the series. So this control, it's a lot more than just the score. The confidence that comes from winning out on this raid control is going to lead into this checkmate and probably affect what we're going to see in that hard point.
I think honestly, this is the perfect swing map in this series between these two teams. A raid control. I mean, we saw one team in Venitt just absolutely control that first hard point, but I mean, we can't even be lying if we say that Beasten didn't absolutely control that entire Search and Destroy from start to finish. Now we head towards the control, which is a beautiful mixture of the two game modes in itself, where you do have a limited amount of lives, but it is still very aggression based, and you can definitely get a good amount of slaying and taking control of the game through just your slaying alone. So it's going to be interesting. Honestly, I can't even really call who I think is going to be able to take this one, because Beasten could just end up being a very good control team as well with their Search and Destroy, and that's where we could end up seeing them take a lot of their series here today.
And I mean, you talk about the raid before Venitt. I mean, you say that Moscow was in control of Beasten. Well, the hard point was pretty much in control of Team Venitt the whole way through. Yeah, it's 250-193, and then like a close score line, but it still doesn't deter the fact that Team Venitt, they were catching rotations early. They were working together as a team for their breaks, and I mean, Neum, we've highlighted him all game long. He's dangerous on the map right now. He had a good showing in the search. He had a phenomenal showing in the hard point, and if players can back him up and support him, he is going to be a dangerous player into this control as well.
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly thought that BeaSten had a better chance of taking that hard point than what Venitt did on that search and destroy. Though watching those first two games, if I'm being completely honest,
Okay,
just
yeah.
I mean, I feel like one hill goes the way of BeaSten there, and they probably that game is a lot closer. That break on the P3 on the garage on the second set of rotations, in my opinion, is probably what wins that game for Venitt. If they don't get that break, it's probably a tie game going back into basketball again, where we saw BeaSten take back over the game at that point. So I mean. I don't know, man. I think the series, honestly, I feel like we're gonna get a full 5 here. This is just, I'm
Would you
loving
love to
college
see it?
COD. I'm just loving it, man.
What
What
you
can I
love to see?
say?
How many times do we say that? Oh, I love to see a game number 5. And honestly, like we say, as much as we have said it over Call of Duty Cold War, this definitely has the making to go all the way to standoff at the end of the road. We're guaranteed checkmate. So let's see what's ahead of us in Raid. Looks like the teams are ready to go, loading on up and into this round number 1. What do you want to see on the breakoff?
I mean, it's hard to say, but I know offenses are very tough to win in general on control. But I can't even imagine how hard it is to win an offense in an eights tournament where you're not used to playing with your team. So I mean, I do feel like this is most likely going to come down to who can win an offense. So I mean, if we can see an offensive win early, that'd be huge.
It would be large and in charge right now. Quick dash to A, a little bit of mid control. If Destin could win this gunfight, it would be really good for the teammate, but it is going to be up to BeaSten to cut corners right through the middle of the map through pillars. Take a little bit of control. 3 go down for Team BeaSten. You get 2 to stack over at A. Already locking down to take a progression. 1 segment. Done and dusted. But here comes the collapse. Now you got a flood on in, and all the routes are being washed by Team BeaSten. The nade's going to land. You got one last player, BeaSten, to put away this point, but Neum's going to find him. Keep them off of A.
And yeah, this should be the A zone done and dusted. Yeah, Destin will complete that zone out. I think the saving grace right now for Venitt with how many lives they just threw at that is the fact that BeaSten is basically even with them at lives right now, and they do have some forward momentum towards the BeaSten spawn. And that kill that player 6 just got off screen towards the bedroom is so huge. It just gives them so much map control towards the water side of the map.
Oh, Destin. Now it's the dangerous shoulder. He's going to play a little bit of ring around the Rosie with J-Mac. That's one of them. They have to meet each other at some point. You have to imagine.
For like 30 seconds here, and he wins the gunfight. That's
J-Mac.
absolutely the ultimate finesse on J-Mac there.
Neum is going to get the trade. Still, Team Venitt, they hold off this wave of attack towards the B site. So all that for nothing. From Destin, and Venitt's going to sneak on through, find another one. So every single kill that Venitt finds on this angle, it's going to slow down the attack tenfold. Too bad the nade doesn't land there, but Destin still going to fall.
Well, I mean, at least BeaSten, they've done the first job. They've cleared out their bedroom. It gives them an opening towards this B side to be able to move up. But I mean, a very strong hold so far from Venitt. I say that until 3 go down from BeaSten here, and it's really just going to leave one alone. Luckily for Venitt, though, they still do have those close spawns. Nobody on BeaSten was quite pushed far enough forward towards B zone to spawn them out in towards that laundry spawn.
Beat down from Locke, even with the team kill. Still keeping the feed in their favor. Blake has snuck through. But not for long. They chase him down. They clear him out. 57 seconds. Lies about even. One good break would put Team BeaSten in a good situation for that. But off of J-Mac. 8-8 in the lives. And this is going to be even harder now to get some momentum going towards this B site. They're backed up to the bedroom.
Oh my God,
to get a good break. What is that arm, J-Mac? Oh,
you said earlier. You said earlier Tom Brady misses sometimes, but I mean J-Mac not missing right now with that grenade. Beautiful throw. And I mean what quickly became was a 1 life advantage quickly becomes a 1 life deficit here for BeaSten. Now they'll get it back with those 2 kills. I mean everything is going to rely on this break right here. They need to shut down Venitt.
Locke snuck in behind. He can put this in the grave. Spots out the legs of Blake. Is going to clear him on out. Now the rotation back for the rest. 3 on 3. 9 seconds left. Somebody's got to stop this clock. And with Neum taking out Destin, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to have a chance. It's up to Bolt here to find this kill. Get onto the site. You get BeaSten on 1.9 seconds. A 2v1. It's up to J-Mac. And he is going to take so much damage from every way. And somehow BeaSten wins that round. I don't know how they got a chance onto that, but
I'll tell you exactly how. It was BBeasten. He made a play through basketball, and with 1.3 seconds or 1.9 seconds, I can't quite remember exactly what it was. It was one of the two. He hops onto basketball through the side and kills the players in the back. It was just a very last-second flank play. He was on their side of the map for probably around 30 seconds to a minute, and he finds that opening through the back to get onto the hill. I mean, that was huge. And Bolt's finding that kill in the front, it just opened everything up and just left one player alone in money all by himself, and just such a tough situation to be in. BBeasten, I mean, yeah, left it till the very last second, literally, but a very, very nice round number 1 opening for themselves there on offense.
a little bit of an update, Cruz. Not only did Crooked 3-0 Josh in the control, but they 3-0 him in the series as well, so that's a quick round number 1 in the losers bracket for Crooked to bounce on back after a round 1 loss. Now looking to start their run, but back into the control. A little bit of focus here. Lock clears out Kitchen. Venitt finds another one. The break to B as they get onto the site, working on that first segment, and Lock's just going to play cutoff here. These players off of Laundry, they know that Lock is going to be in this corner, but are they ready for the early aggression? They are. BBeasten clears him out. Now the flood on into the B site. They have to work it to a T, getting as fast as possible. J-Mac catches some shots. The push from Venitt. Bolt wipes him off the board, and take a look at the minimap because the spawns are going to be up to A.
I didn't see. Did they get the B tick? Because I don't think that's
They
fully
did.
through.
Pretty sure they did.
It just looks like there's a little bit left. I'm not 100%, so I think that they need to hop onto this B tick and progress it, because I don't think that fully came through yet, and especially with A, the way that it's coming through. Yeah, they've already finished it. That B tick, the second, is not through yet. So if they can hop onto that zone and digress that tick a little bit, that would be absolutely huge for themselves there. And yeah, see, they were just off of getting it. So this is huge from Bolt, just to kind of regress this tick while they're trying to get their mid-map control back.
You got lives, you got time, and you got to take to B. One good wipe will give you a round of your own, but it's just not clean enough for Team Venitt. As you almost need that in control, just a clean wipe to give you the first wave of control and set you up for succession on the second wave. J-Mac going to be working through Kitchen. Well, Lock works this flank as well. Good for 1 kill, but that's about it. Now the flood from Lock, looking to do some damage from behind, but his players are losing out on the gunfights from the front line. Lock's finally going to strike on in, so he's got to make some work with this. As you do see Venitt looking to hop onto the site with his teammate. The 2 players present inside money, just waiting for them to peek on out. Slow, steady progression towards B. Take a look at the minimap. There's a flank through bedroom, and that's BBeasten looking to rip him apart with that Krieg. Second tick is locked down. It's going to force Neum to push into him, able to clear him out. And J-Max wins some gunfights on the front line. Bolt gets taken down. Blake, he's got to win this gunfight against Lock just to give him that. And this is perfect from Venitt now. They can sack the side and put this away.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance that they touch here in this round now. No, once they get the stack on, that last tick comes through so quickly, and Venitt able to answer back with a huge offensive round of their own. I thought BBeasten was going to do it. Once he made that big flank play in from behind, I thought it was going to be back-to-back rounds, one from him making a big flank play, but not going to happen here. And I actually think Venitt ended up winning that round with the man disadvantage. I don't know if they pulled it back at the very end there, but they were down 4 at one point, and so that's just huge, being able to hop onto that zone and being able to close it out like that. I mean, it just shows you, even when you're down in lives, if you hop that zone and you get a good stack, you can absolutely still win these rounds out. Nonetheless, though, BBeasten will be back on offense here. The last time, it looked like they put a lot of priority over towards that A site right off the rip, but then transitioned it to B and got a good amount of progress there as well. So we'll see what they do here on their offense here, and it looks very similar to the first round where they put a lot of pressure towards A.
Completely different story than the last time we saw Raid Control. But Lock starts the break, able to find a player from behind, staying even to the kills, but the flood not working out. Blake finds Lock now, presence towards A, working on the second segment. Oh, Venitt finds one, J-Mac finds the other one, now you're looking at B.
That's a big clearance from the side of Venitt. They stopped them from getting the second tick at A. Yes, they're making the transition over to B right now, but you've got Neum watching through the middle of the map. Unfortunately, he does fall. They weren't able to find anything, and this now actually opens up a huge chance for BBeasten. They might even be able to just get this. I think if you're Venitt, you might just have to chalk this and play exits right now.
Oh, B's gone. 2 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock. Plenty of time, plenty of lives to work with. with presence towards A. You can see the spawns are going to be up inside garage, but working out of it, all three players. You clean up Decim here. But you lose out onto A, so it's going to be a stack from Team Beastenon the AC. All three players are there, so this is going to go fast. You got to get there if you're Venitt. This is literally just draining, and nobody's there to touch.
I don't think they realized that there were so many players on that hill that they got the close spawn, and BeastenT just absolutely take advantage. They hop all three on it, and like you said, that those last 2 ticks of progression came through so quickly because of it.
Oh my word. I don't think I've ever seen somebody neglect a site like that.
Yeah, you got to think that's a major misplay from the side of Team from the side of Team Venitt to not realize that they have 3 on the hill there, and not even really challenge that hill from the art side of the map. So I mean, very unfortunate for themselves there. But I mean, we saw them on their first offense. There's no doubt in my mind that they can win a second offense here with how they took control of that B site in that round number 1.
Oh, what a beamer! All right, now they got to clear out the player who's laying prone, because here's the rotation through mid. And it's successful. They take down J-Mac, Neum, and Locke. Team Venitt sent back to their spawn. As quick as ever. But Venett's still alive here. If you can back him up fast enough, you can see some time going the way of Venitt. Able to find one, almost turns on the second one, but Blake finishes off the kill. So this is a perfect break now from Venitt, which looked poor at the start. They climb on back, and they get a first take done and dusted.
Yeah, Venitt had a beautiful break off over towards A. Unfortunately for him, none of his teammates were able to find kills along with him. On the second chance, though, the rest of his teammates, they'll show up for the round. They'll start finding a couple of kills. Progression will come in. This has got to be the A zone done at this point. It's exactly what they saw them do in their first round. And this time through, they actually look to just completely take control of this B side. All the players on BeastenT will spawn up, though, inside of basketball. So it's going to be a big job here for Venitt to be able to break in. They got to find all these kills in the back.
But if you can wipe this hill, they're going to be spawning up in laundry. Luckily, BeastenT both find a huge 2 kills. That is going to send Venitt on the spawn to the right side of the minimap. You got player number 3, BeastenT, sitting inside bedroom. He did find a kill, so they know he's going to be back there. But I don't like that they didn't put emphasis on clearing out BeastenT. That's going to bite them in the later end of this hill.
Well, I think that they haven't yet because they want to try to hit this from the basketball side of the map one more time. They're not too worried about him up in that bedroom right now, as long as he's just chilling up there. Because he's actually out of position with them not pushing from that side of the map right now.
I don't know how I feel about that one, but here, let's see if it's going to pay off for that. Blake gets you behind. J-Mac keeping low from BeastenT's point of view, like you commented. And here comes the swing now. Working on that first take is going to be Venitt, but the collapse is going to be coming in to fruition. BeastenT has relocated underneath the bedroom to get a better angle on this hill, but he's struggling to find a player on the pool steps. You got to bank on your teammates to get into this hill fast, and they're just not winning the gunfights that they need to. That's a huge one from Bolt, because it is going to stomp out the progression that is being collected from Team Venitt. It's going to stall their attack for the time being. You have a 4-life lead, but it's draining fast. BeastenT finds another one off screen, and here comes the wipe now. The flood from BeastenT collapsing onto him. 3 go down and send Venitt back to spawn.
That's huge, because what was once a 6-life lead, now down to 3. It's only Venitt who's pushed forward as well. They've gotten complete zone control back from the side of BeastenT. So now Venitt, they need to find a way. They got to find a few openings through this back side, but everybody on pool, BeastenT and Bolt, the double B combo going huge here. Absolutely finding 2 through the side, and it's just going to slow down this push one more time. And now they've only got 30 seconds left. Venitt, they're going to try to make this push through the middle of the map.
Oh, there's a cross right here. The bait and switch into Blake. Finds the first, switches to the second one. Neum's off the table now. 20 seconds to work with. And here comes the rest. Decim playing cleanup duty inside the hill. And it's up to Venitt now, just to stay alive. BeastenT on 5. Gets cleared off. It's not a whole lot to work with right now if you're Team Venitt. But it's do or die right now for this control. Set up for succession is Team BeastenT. You just need one good break. 9.4 seconds. 5 lives to 3. Here comes the flood. They clear out the players. All up to Venitt now. And he's able to find 2. No respawns left on either side. 1v3 is not able to happen whatsoever. Team BeastenT take the control, move up into the series 2-1. And they successfully take that swing map.
Honestly, what a swing map that was. Every single round of that control felt like it came down to the very end. I mean, it's just things you love to see as a caster, but yeah, Beaston, he was kind of out of position in that round. They do clear him out, but you got to think that the big wave of kills that ends up winning them that round there is right towards the very end when there's around 30 seconds left, and Bolt and Beaston find those 3 kills through Tiki. Just finding them on those off angles, it really slowed down the push from Venitt, forced them to have to push through the choke point of the middle of the map into Kitchen. And once that happened, you called it out yourself. There's a beautiful crossfire set up there. It just made it so much easier for them to close that round out. And now Beaston, they get it done. They take a respawn. And I mean, now they just have to worry about getting to that standoff. I mean, yeah, if you take it on the checkmate, that's great. But they've got a great game mode to fall back on in the search and destroy, which they looked fantastic in that map 1.
And if you're Venitt, you gotta win a hard point and a search, and you know that Team Beaston have been feeling good on the search and destroy. So we're gonna see checkmate coming up very shortly. A quick little break before map number 4 comes on through. Following this break, it's either gonna be Team Beaston putting this one away or Venitt to keep us going to standoff. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, to the CCL Summer 8s powered by eFuse. Once again, my name is Seymour. Alongside me, the wonderful Cruz and Spaz, and we're hopping into Hardpoint now. Game number 4 between Team Beaston and Team Venitt. Checkmate is going to be the name. This is the first time we've seen checkmate all day long, and I mean, how are you feeling about these two teams coming off that control?
I mean, Beaston's in the driver's seat at this point in the game. Let's be honest. I mean, not only are they up 2-1 in the series, but kind of like we hinted at earlier, they looked fantastic in the search and destroy. So I mean, even if we do end up going to that search and destroy, they're in a great spot to be able to close this series out for themselves here. But you know what? We still got to get there. Venitt has gotten off to a great start here, though, in this hard point. I mean, they're going to get 30 seconds off this opening break. I thought they had a chance to flip these spawns out, but a couple kills do come through from Bash and Bolt once again through the top side of the map to really slow that down. But these couple kills coming through, and with the forward possession from the side of Venitt, oh, I thought they were going to do it, but Beaston, they hold on to their kill cams just long enough to get the spawn up in the back.
Ooh, and 4 go down. The snap
man.
of a finger.
That was close, though.
Eradicated just like that. And look at Beaston. He's pushing for a little bit extra through the middle of the map. Bites off a little bit more than he can chew with that shot onto Venitt, but still a good setup now for Team Beaston for this hill 2. And they're cleaning up the players before they can even reach that site. So they have the perfect setup right now for this hill 2.
That's a great setup, like you said. I mean, that kill cam hold was huge because it gave them 3 players in the back with 1 player flanking in from behind it. It just allowed them to pinch onto the site, get the break very early onto this hill once Venitt tried to hit it and break it from the front. And I mean, ever since then, it's literally been all Beaston. They have just completely controlled the spawns. Nobody on Venitt has even gotten remotely close to this hill, and you got to think Venitt are just going to try to set up now and get a good hold for themselves here on this P3 and just try to continue to zone Beaston out towards this right-hand side of the map.
Blake finds Neum, so they're finding the kills to break on out of hill number 2 as well. And all of a sudden, Locke just alone on this wing. Has to drop down to find anything he can. Is able to find Decim, but only Decim that is. So now it's up to Venitt. Not able to take down Bolt from the hill, but it's able to clear out a few more. And as they come tumbling into the hill, Team Venitt, they're just getting 1 kill after the other just to make sure that Team Beaston aren't comfortable in this setup. This is Beaston, though, just making sure that they can maintain the lead no matter what in this hill number 3.
It just kind of feels like Venitt aren't playing with the same aggression and confidence that we saw from them in that map number 1 on hardpoint. It just feels like they're kind of just giving Beaston too much of an opening to get into these zones, and maybe it's just the fact that Beaston has some very strong ARs that are holding down these lanes. But nonetheless, I mean, this has been a perfect start for the team that's in the driver's seat in the series right now.
Here comes the rotation now to hill 4. The hill is wide open. 50 seconds on the clock. 20-second lead. Here comes Bolt. Diamante in hand. Can't find J-Mac. It's going to drop him down to 7 health, but it's not going to matter because you have the overhead of your teammates. Swings out to Decim, and a 2-piece to get Beaston back on that hill. 30 seconds now. You're looking for another break if you're Venitt, but you might have to be putting a lot of emphasis onto this rotation, and Neum set up to watch the cross to make sure that they can maintain the left side of the minimap.
Oh, I was saying they were doing such a good job of zoning them out, but only one player now left here for BBeasten. But I mean, the reinforcements from the top of the plane still are here, and Venitt's going to drop in the hill, so scrap time very likely to go the way of BBeasten now, with Locke being the only player left here. He's going to fall. Yes, scrap time absolutely will go the way. They're going to mass rate around the 100-point mark. I think they're going to get to rate, what, 98? Yeah, and with, what, a minute now to pop onto this hill, and them still in complete possession of the zone. I mean, they've just done such a great job of manipulating spawns in this game to really shut down this Team Venitt team.
Up to 50 seconds in their hand. Locks in the back line. You got Venitt pinching from the front line. It's up to Blake on an island, but they clear him out. The overwhelming pressure breaks on through, clears the spawns, and flips out the side of Team BBeasten. Just up Desum in the backline being quite a nuisance because it's putting a lot of focus onto him in the backline while your teammate breaks through the front. So Venitt really holding onto strings for this hill number 5. And here comes Desum. J-Mac reads it. 15 seconds are going to be locked down, it seems like, for this lone player. But he's got to be a little bit careful because here comes another flood from BBeasten. One last time before the switch to hill number 1. But a good lead has been gained, and Venitt doing a good job at making sure that it's not too big.
Yeah, I mean, the ending half of that set of rotations was honestly huge for Venitt. They didn't allow BBeasten to really run away with the game, even though they were in control of a lot of these spawns. Just a good job of contesting, and J-Mac going huge on the zone to honestly lock down some time towards the end of that round there. I think they got around 30 seconds on that hill 5, just from J-Mac alone, just sitting inside the hill, really contesting the point or winning huge one-on-one gunfights there. And now they are in control of those P2 spawns as well, so they have a chance to really do to Team BBeasten what they did to them in the first set of rotations, which was, yeah, sure, you lose some time here on P1, but if you answer back with a full 60, I mean, they're going to be right back in this game.
I think BBeasten has been so good at breaking these hills that I think a hold on hill 2 just, it's not comfortable enough for Venitt. Putting quite a fight up in that hill 1. 4 go down, so they do slay out. And Neum's actually looking to make sure that they can't get out of their spawn early enough. BBeasten, oh, come on, man. Blake was just standing there.
Blake, unfortunately, you fall victim to your own teammate here, and now the break possibly coming through from BBeasten from the front. Desum, they will find those first 2. It's going to be huge to just try to break in, but they are still in control of those spawns if you're Venitt. You can try to reinforce this hill from the right side. It's exactly what we saw BBeasten do in the first set of rotations, if they can answer back with them here. But, I mean, this is still a 2v2 for the hill, and BBeasten is just going so huge for his team. And they flip the spawns out once again. BBeasten back in control of P2.
The reason why he's a captain, put some respect on his name, Cruz. 30 seconds on that clock for hill number 2. A swift break from Team BBeasten. And now from Team Venitt, you gotta be sweating a little bit. You gotta get onto this hill, and you have to make sure that you can maintain that close hold for the remaining time, but you're just struggling to break into this hill. Blake finally drops, but BBeasten to take his place, and there's no way you're taking him down.
They're trying to make it scrappy. It's just not working right now. BBeasten, they're going to find themselves with, what, right around a 75-point lead here as we head back to P3. And, I mean, we saw them get a good amount of time on P3 the last time. They broke out of this hill very, very quickly from P2, and were just able to consistently reinforce and put a body on the hill to get a good amount of time here the last set of rotations.
Seconds on the clock. Lock swings out. 2-piece for Venitt. But the teammates are falling, dropping. And you actually flip the spawns out for BBeasten too. So this is going to be good for the team in blue. The flood on into this hill. Lock trying to be a one-man army, but it's only going to last so long as 3 kills go the way of Team BBeasten. The boys in blue, they might not break in, but oh boy, they're keeping Team Venitt on their toes.
Neum on 4 now. This is a huge opportunity for Streaks, but he ends up falling. He's the only player inside the hill. I feel like I would have loved to have seen maybe somebody else on Venitt try to hop on that hill, let him play for some Streaks, because, I mean, they might not be the best on this map, but Streaks still nonetheless would have been great to try to break their way back into this game. But they will be in early possession of hill 4 as it pops. And, I mean, they need a good hold here to get back into this game really badly.
And a fantastic hold.
And it's not going to be there. The break from BBeasten right away.
They can not win this hill, it doesn't seem like.
No, they won't get
1
the tick. Yeah.
1 second away from Team BBeasten being able to put it away on this hill. Really, Venitt, you just need to make sure that you can keep them away from the finish line, and they're just not finding anything. There's a kill against Team BBeasten, and it was a team kill It's like the first time that we've seen them. I mean, a collective 6 streak across the board for the side of Team BeaSten. 20 points away from victory now. Getting closer and closer as well, and it doesn't seem like Team Venitt are just in a position to strike onto hill number 4. They need to prioritize ripping the spawns away from Team BeaSten, and this is going to be their chance now. Neom is going to be ready for the swing from player number 7. Blake, it doesn't seem like, is there, putting their back to him as well. Here comes the break, and Blake gets them right back into this hill, but not for long, as Venitt now 7 points away from losing out on this map, losing out on the series. And they have to play picture perfect hardpoint from here on out.
Team Captain Venitt, he's going to have to go absolutely huge here inside the hill. But once again, keep your eye on Blake. He's making the big flank play from behind.
Oh, but he's waiting. He's being ever so patient, making sure that when the break comes, it's going to be successful. So here he comes. Venitt has no clue whatsoever. A free kill to himself. Get back into the hill. Now time is ticking against Team Venitt. And with 3 players going down, it's all up to J-Mac now. Big one-on-one, and that's going to go to Blake. Locks up next, but still, Team BeaSten holding on to checkmate. They finish the series out 3-1, and they push on even farther through the winner's bracket.
Oh, and we're getting to see it one more time. Blake, this is the 2-piece to win the game. He gets the first, and we'll see him swing right here on J-Mac, and then swing left on Lock to close the game out. Clearly just won the game for themselves here. Wonderful stuff. And I mean, I just gotta say, man, I feel like Venitt played fantastic in that game. The whole team
did.
Just unfortunately, they do end up falling there. And look at our 2 score lines from our hard points, almost identical from the two different hard points, but 2 different outcomes from the team that ended up winning. I will say this, man. I pointed it out to you before we got into this series, but Neom, he was their 4th pick in that game, and I feel like he was the best player in that series for the side of Venitt. Maybe barring that last checkmate hardpoint, he had a little bit of a rough map, but still, the first 3, he was fantastic. So, I mean, some surprises coming in after that draft.
I mean, you have to say, I mean, we've been talking about players having individual spotlights throughout their series. Neom, we highlighted him for the side of Team Venitt. But in that last map of checkmate, there wasn't a single player falling behind for Team BeaSten. Everybody was on the same pace, or everybody was on the same wavelength, it seemed like, for the squad. And that's where you're going to see the transition to such a stronghold on some hills. I mean, hill number 4 to 5 was almost perfect with the transition from Team BeaSten. It's only where you have those players at Team Venitt able to push back, just not enough to hold on to these hills when it's only 1 or 2 players just holding on for dear life for Team Venitt's side. So they're going to drop on down to the losers bracket. So why don't we check on and see where exactly Team Venitt are going to land. So they're going to be up against Team Relic now in losers round 2. We can see that every single round number 2 matchup, including the losers side, is going to be finished up. And here we have, the score is set now for our next set of matches.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at that winners round 3, it's going to be Team Tactic versus Team Tested. I think Tested still yet to lose a map, correct? No, they did. They lost 1 map to Red Chase in that first series. Duh, we casted that. But Tested and Tactic, I think that's going to be a fantastic series. Tactic has very clearly looked good. They 3-0 Relic in the first game, 3-2 Catalyst in a close 5-game series there. So that match should be very, very good. In this BeaSten Fishity match, I think it's Fishity who have not dropped a map. There we go. And it's going to be them going up against BeaSten, who, I mean, they took Crooked to 5. They ended up closing it out there. And I mean, their hardpoint looked much better in that checkmate. So, I mean, if they can get another checkmate to sneak into that series against Fishity, I mean, I think they've got every chance in the world to be able to take that series still, even though Fishity hasn't lost one. So, I mean, I think we're in for a really good one here, man.
Well, folks, we got 1 more round of winners to go through for the stream, and then the last 2 losers rounds to go through as well. So the stream is nearing towards the end of day 1 for this tournament. But there's plenty of Call of Duty still to be had in the Call of Duty CCL Summer 8's tourney, powered by eFuse. It's a fantastic day so far, and things are getting better every single round that we see. So we're going to cut to a little of a break, and when we come back, we will have round number 3 set and ready to go for you. So go nowhere whatsoever. Maybe go and hydrate a little bit, because CCL will be right back.